Happy New Year. It is 2025. It's the second day of the year. And I hope that your year is going well so far. I know that there's been some very stressful things that happened yesterday. And I think it just highlights that we're living in tough times. In some ways, we're living in a time of material wealth. I'm able to go to the grocery store. There's several grocery stores I can choose from, and their shelves are mostly fully stocked with healthy, different kinds of foods. Well, and a lot of unhealthy foods. In fact, the majority of the grocery store is unhealthy foods, things that would make your body get sick and your joints to break down and get diabetes and cancer and all that stuff. But there are still healthy foods in the grocery store that are on the shelf that I can just walk in and purchase and bring home and eat. And I have gasoline to power my car. I do have a bicycle that I could go to the grocery store with a little milk carton crate thing on the back that I could put my grocery bags in. And I do that in the summertime sometimes. But we do live in a time where you can hop in a vehicle, whether you have a gas car or an electric car, and go to the grocery store and get healthy foods if you want. You can also get unhealthy foods that taste really good, but your body suffers from that, and your mind. We do live in a time of plenty. Material wealth. That is something that we do live in a time of. But we also live in a time of emotional and spiritual poverty. If you compare how we live today to, say, how hunter-gatherers are living right now on North Sentinel Island in the Indian Ocean, they've been living there for 60,000 years. And they haven't cut down the forest on the island. The forest runs from the beach to the beach, all around the island. And they have shunned any contact with our civilization, our culture. They have killed people that tried to go there. They killed missionaries that tried to go there. The Indian government has a rule that you just leave them alone because they want to be left alone. But I bet that they have... While they may not have the material wealth that we have, I would be willing to bet a significant amount of money that they are way more emotionally and spiritually wealthy than we are. Just yesterday, we had 2 Army vets carry out one of them was a horrific act. Well, the other one was 2. One Army vet blew himself up, and then the other Army vet killed a bunch of people who were celebrating the New Year in New Orleans. Of course, there were people in the media and in politics who tried to use this horrific act to further their political agenda of making people view other people as less than human and hate them and want to destroy them. That was disappointing. that made me feel angry and frustrated and sad. Sad to be part of this civilization where powerful people, whether they're in the media or politics or corporations, they want us to hate each other and be at each other's throats so that they can control us. They want us to view other people and other beings like the plants and animals, the trees, the fish in the ocean. They want us to view others as inferior, and that is how you allow awful things to happen, like what happened yesterday in New Orleans and Las Vegas. That is how you allow awful things that have happened throughout history. We don't have to go very far. Just in our own nation, well, the nation I live in, the United States, it was founded on taking the land from people who already lived here, the Native Americans, the first people. It was just, in order to take their land, you had to view them as less than human. And there was literally laws saying that legally Americans could take Native American land because they didn't believe in the right religion. That is actually a legal thing that was used to take land. And you had this country initially relied on slaves to do the work on the plantations in the South. And in order to do that, you have to view African Americans as less than the white people. This has been going on a very long time. And now it's very clear that we are destroying the one planet that we live on, the one environment that we all require for life, the one earth that gives us life. And we are destroying that. We're cutting down the forest and changing the temperatures of the skies, changing the climate. We're lying to ourselves that it's not happening. We lie to ourselves that, it is happening, but humans aren't doing it. We make up all these lies so that we can keep viewing ourselves as above nature, above some other species of life, above some other person that looks different, has a different colored skin, has a different religious belief, has different ideas about how the world should work or how society should work. There are people here that, in this country, that are successful in making people hate other people who were just born in a different country and think of them as less than themselves, even less than human. This is the time we live in. It is a time of material wealth, but spiritual and emotional, psychological poverty. I'm so glad that I'm not working my job that I used to work as a neurosurgeon. That job in itself was very destructive to my psyche, my soul, my body. But if I was still doing that job, plus encountering all these things, like the things that happened yesterday, I would have, I think, very little will to live. But since I quit that job a year and 3 months ago now, I'm able to be in a much better place. I'm able to be centered and whole. I can pay attention to my thoughts and feelings. I can pay attention to what people are saying, what people want other people to believe. I can pay attention to people that are intentionally dividing people and making them hate each other and making them view themselves above others. I can pay attention to when I view myself as above others, or when I view myself as equal to another soul. I can be mindful about it. And I have the energy now and the will to make choices, to live a life where there is equality between me and other people, other beings like plants, animals, my dog, trees, fishies, the earth. The earth is alive too, even though it's not an animal. The earth is alive. Even a mountain is alive. When I was hiking up Mount Rainier, there's a base camp at 10,000 feet. The mountain itself goes up to 14,000 feet. When I was hiking up to 10,000 feet, there's a base camp called Camp Muir. And every 10-15 minutes, you would hear rocks falling. Big thundering crashes of boulders falling down the mountain. The mountain was alive. It is alive. It's always changing. Now, it's not alive in the sense that it has DNA and burns chemical energy that was from the sun originally. It's not alive in that sense, but it is alive in the sense that it exists with us and it is changing. And it is an entity. It's a beautiful mountain up here. If you've ever been to Seattle, you can see it from a lot of different places. It's a majestic mountain. It's so large that it boggles the mind. But it is alive. And the earth is alive too. Well, I'm starting this year with a very different mindset than I had starting last year. And that's a mindset to live a life as best I can, where I view myself as equal to other people's souls, and that I treat myself and others with respect and love. And I expose lies that I tell myself or that I hear as best I can. I show the truth as best I can to myself and to others. And if there is evil, which is hurting someone else and hiding from the guilt and under layers and layers of lies, so that everyone, including yourself, it doesn't even acknowledge that the wrongdoing happened. If there's evil, doing my best to shine light on it. Shine light through those layers of lies so that the truth can be seen, everyone can see it, everyone can talk about it, everyone can know that evil is taking place. But it's really a choice whether we want to continue believing those layers of lies we tell ourselves and each other so that we can continue hurting ourselves, each other, the animals, the fishies, the trees, the earth, the mountains, the streams, the oceans. It's a choice. We all have that choice. Every day. I have that choice every day. I still make choices that hurt myself and other people and the earth. I am part of this civilization that I think is collapsing on itself slowly. It's not something that's happening overnight. It's not like a disaster movie where some asteroid hits the earth or some aliens invade and they happen to like eating people. This is not that. It is a horror story, though, in some respects, because we're all alive. There's almost 8.2 billion of us. And the reason why there's so many people is because we found millions of years of sunlight's energy stored underground in the form of fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas. And we've used that to make a lot of food. And with making a lot of food, we've made a lot of people. And the horror story part of that is that there is no more oil and coal and natural gas being made. That happened before fungi were decomposing trees. You can see the layer in the earth where fungal spores are, and that's when oil stops being made. Oil, coal, natural gas, there are millions of years of sunlight energy stored underground, and there's no more being made, but we've pumped out a lot of the easily accessible pockets of oil. We've dug out a lot of the easily accessible pockets of coal, and we've siphoned out a lot of the easily accessible pockets of natural gas. And we've made a lot of food, and there are a lot of us alive. But that's a finite resource, and it is running out. Running out in the sense that it's getting harder to find easily accessible pockets of these fossil fuels. It's getting even more expensive. People are drilling out in the deep ocean to try to get more of this energy. But it's becoming even more expensive. And the more expensive it gets, there comes a point when it is just as expensive to pump it out of the ground as it is the money that you get from it. At that point, it doesn't make any sense to pump out any more. Because past that point, if it's more expensive to pump it out of the ground than the money you get from selling it, then you just start losing money. There's no more pumping out oil at that point, even though there is still some oil and coal and natural gas underground. And it looks like majority of the people that are alive today will likely witness this peak in energy from fossil fuels. And after that, it is either a slow or relatively rapid decline. And with that means less food, less material wealth. And we already have a culture and civilization that is in a famine in terms of spirituality and emotional health. Then you add into that material famine and poverty. You add to that not having enough food for 8.2 billion people. That's the horror story. And we are living right now in the beginning of that movie. I'm not saying that the world will end. The world will continue on. There might be humans that continue on too. I don't think humans would go extinct, but it's possible. But I think the humans that will go on will probably live something like the humans that have lived on North Sentinel Island for 60,000 years. They're not going to live like we are today with our computers, our cell phones, our social media, our grocery stores, our electric and gasoline powered cars, our entertainment. I think they will be living closer to the hunter-gatherer lifestyle at some point. When? I don't know when. But I can see that the way we live right now is breaking down. I think that's why you have a Green Beret Special Forces blowing himself up. You have an ex-Army HR and IT specialist running people over and shooting them and dying in the process from being shot by cops. I think that's why we have people resorting to extremist ideologies, whether it's on the left or right, or religious extremism, whether that's Christianity, Muslim, Judaism. There are even extremist Buddhists who have killed people. I always found that very hard to comprehend. But there have been in history, like in Sri Lanka. It's very hard to understand how a Buddhist can blow themselves up and other people. But I don't think any religion is immune to the disease of the soul of superiority. When you think you're superior to somebody or something else, it puts a huge blind spot on your actions and your choices and allows you to hurt others. Well, this year I have a much better mindset going into this year, and a way to process and understand what's happening, what I'm experiencing, what are other people experiencing, what am I seeing, what am I hearing, what am I feeling. I think I'm in a much better place than last year. Speaking of materially, I'm in a much better place because someone had commented that I really need to oil my seat because it kept going like every time I shift my weight or lean back. And so look at this. Oh, I have the metal bar stopping it from going all the way back. No squeak. Thank you, viewer, who recommended that I oil my chair. This has been bothering me like for years. I literally had this chair for, I think, it might be even 11 years. It's probably 8 years old. Yeah, I think it was. Well, it might be 11 years old, and one day I tried to flip it over and I looked at the mechanism under the bottom, and I was like, oh, there's no way I can oil what needs to be oiled, because it's just like this contraption. But someone commented on that, and I said, well, I'm going to take a look at it again. So before the new year, I flipped over the chair and I got out my gun oil, and I said, well, I'm just going to put some dabs of oil here and there and see if it works. And it did. This makes me really happy. So I'm already starting out 2025 better. There's a couple other things that I made a New Year's resolution, and usually my New Year's resolutions are like be healthier, lose weight, do some kind of physical feat or something. But I only have one resolution this year, and that is to take all these ideas and thoughts that I've been sharing on this YouTube channel and put them into a book where I can coalesce all these ideas and ideas that I haven't shared in the videos into a book format, and in that way I can expound upon ideas, give more detail here and there, because I really like this format of stream of consciousness sharing, but it has a downside in that sometimes I forget to share something that I intended to share because my mind never just went to that topic. And that means that sometimes I leave out something important. And usually viewers pick up on that and they say, how come you didn't talk about this? Or I don't agree with you because you didn't talk about this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't talk about that. I meant to. And so in a book format, I can actually talk about all the things that I have been talking about and I want to share. But I can also go back and edit it and add in things that I left out or that are important. I can give more detail and explain a little bit better some of the other things, and share things that maybe I didn't think was important at the time, but now I do. So my New Year's resolution is I'm actually setting an alarm clock. I haven't been setting an alarm clock for the last year, except for if I had to make it somewhere on time for some reason, like a meeting. But this year, I'm setting an alarm clock every morning so that when I wake up, I wake up with the sun, and I start writing for at least a couple hours. And it's been good so far. I think this book will be important for me. If anything, it'd be good to really hone down on these thoughts and things that I've learned over the last year. I learned a lot last year, and I've been sharing that in these videos. Before I get sidetracked, before I go into that, I want to get sidetracked because there's something that I wanted to share and I almost forgot. We'll go back to the book thing in a second. But this is a sidetrack that I really wanted to share and I almost forgot, but I saw it on my desk. This is a light bulb that burnt out. The wire busted. You won't be able to see it on the camera because the GoPro doesn't focus very, very close. It usually just gets blurry. The iPhone's better at close-up focus, but the wire is broken inside. But that's not what's interesting about this light bulb to me. This was in my car. My taillight went out, and the beauty of YouTube is that I can just go on YouTube and then look up, how do I change my taillight that went out? And there's someone that made a video about how to do that. It's just, YouTube's amazing. And then instead of like going to the car shop and like waiting hours to like wait in line and then pay a couple $100 for or like, I don't know how much they charge like for the service for them to change the light bulb, I can instead just go buy this light bulb or the replacement for just under $5. And I can go on YouTube, and with the screwdriver, I can take apart the tail light, find out which bulb is out, and then plug it in. So this is the burnt out one. And that took like 5 minutes. It's pretty amazing. I really like YouTube a lot. Very grateful. Even though sometimes YouTube frustrates me. But for the most part, it's good. That reminds me of... there was something that I was thinking about talking about. I was like, no, I'm not going to talk about it. But now I'm going to talk about it. I was looking back through the videos that I made last year, because the channel started in April and it blew up in July. And after July, I made a bunch of talking videos. I was looking back at the talking videos, and there are three videos that were demonetized, meaning that I can't get paid for the advertisements in the that are put in front of the video, that YouTube puts in front of the video. Even though YouTube still puts advertisements in front of those videos, I just don't get paid for it. So it's like a nudge for creators, like, hey, what you did, you're not going to get paid for it, so don't do it again. It's a way to kind of nudge creators. They can't really control the creators unless someone does something outrageous and their channel just gets shut down, banned, or they get some strikes or something. 3 strikes and your channel is done. But they can do something else, which is just silently, there's no email or notification, just silently change your video from being able to get ad money to demonetized. Just the video, not the channel. And they don't tell you, they just silently do it. So I was looking back through my old talking videos, and I found that there were 3 videos that YouTube did that to. And I thought this was kind of telling. I was thinking about sharing it, but I was like, nah, I won't. I don't want to talk bad about YouTube, but I think it's interesting. So YouTube, thank you very much for this channel, allowing this platform that I can share these really cool things with people and hear other people's stories and experiences, and we can discuss these things, and hopefully it improves people's lives. So thank you, YouTube. But there are some criticisms. I think everyone has good and bad, including YouTube. And I think criticism is healthy. I screw up too. I don't always do the right thing. And so I think criticism is part of a healthy discourse. And this is my criticism. The 3 videos that were demonetized silently without me being notified. I just had to go look and find out. The 3 were, one was Luigi Mangione's video. Even though I was very neutral about the killing, I didn't condone it. That was one. That's telling. Well, because of the obvious economic hierarchical structure of our society, where corporations run everything. Second was a video I made about racism. I made a video where I shared my experience growing up in America, because I was born and raised here. For some of you who've there's some people that write these troll comments. I don't know if they're serious or not, but they claim that I'm Chinese and I'm spreading Chinese communist propaganda. I'm not even Chinese. My parents are South Korean. I was born here. I barely speak any Korean because of the racism I experienced growing up in Oklahoma. As a child, I was made fun of incessantly for speaking any Korean words, and I refused to speak anymore. I told my parents, I'm American, I'm not Korean. And I didn't. I forgot. I forgot how to speak Korean. I know a few phrases, but English is my only language I'm fluent in. So, no, I'm not a Chinese propaganda, communist, whatever. I don't support communism, and I think capitalism also has a lot of really big flaws that are destroying this planet and ourselves. But that doesn't make me a communist propagandist. Well, that kind of digressed. The second video was about me growing up in America as a Korean American, experiencing racism. Not just from white folks, from black folks, from other Asians, but mostly white folks. And seeing Asians be racist back. So it can go both ways. It mostly flows one way. And I made that video and it got demonetized. Why? I don't know. In the video, I was talking about how we need to come together and work together with each other because people in power want us to hate each other and be at each other's throats. Because if we're at each other's throats all the time, we can't cooperate and make our lives better. We're just controlled and used as, well, slaves. Property. No longer human. We're things. Well, that video got demonetized. Why? No explanation. And then the third video that got demonetized was, this one was kind of surprising to me. It was the one I made about what are the New Jersey drones, like the things that were flying around that, a lot of it was mass hysteria, people misinterpreting, looking at helicopters and commercial airplanes and thinking that they were some kind of alien or something. But there was a lot of very strange things flying around in the sky in New Jersey for like a month and a half now. And there still are strange things flying around. And I just made a video about that. That got demonetized too. Why? Sure, there was mass hysteria, but there was also weird things flying around. What are they? They're flying over our country in our protected airspace. And there were important people raising valid concerns, like a senator from New Jersey, sheriffs from local police departments in New Jersey, congressmen and women. And we just got told by the FBI and Homeland Security and the White House that it's just all mass hysteria. People are just making stuff up and misinterpreting, seeing regular airplanes and helicopters. It's like, I don't think that many people, I don't think everybody was. There definitely were people doing that. But that got demonetized too. Why is that? No explanation. Well, I think there should be more clarity about that process for content creators instead of just nudging them and hoping that they'll be a good boy, be a good girl, and fall in line. Well, that was a digression. Oh, I didn't even talk about why I thought the light bulb was interesting. I really got digressed. Okay, the good thing I remembered why I brought the light bulb up. this is really interesting not because the wire broke inside, but because of what's inside the glass. This has always made me curious. This is a vacuum. There is no matter in between the glass except for the wire. There's no gas molecules. It's a vacuum. Yet it takes up space. And I can see through it. You can see through it too. You can see me through it. You can see me through it. So what is this? Because it's technically nothing. There's no matter here. This is the same stuff that outer space is made of, except there's some dust and there's rocks that fly, asteroids, and of course our planet and the sun and comets. They fly through space. That's what this is made of, but it has no matter. Energy travels through it. I can shine a light through this. Here's a laser. Hopefully I don't blind myself. I'm shining a green laser through this thing that is nothing. But if it's nothing, how come a glass is enclosing it? What is the glass enclosing? Because if it's nothing, there wouldn't be anything to enclose. That's fascinating. And tying this back to spine surgery, people that have degenerative disc disease, people that have discs that have worn out and disappeared, the cushion between their bones disappeared. When they lay down in a scanner, their bones relax back when they lie down, because when you're standing, gravity makes the bones touch each other again. But when they have no disc in between, if they lay down, it opens back up to the normal space, and there's a vacuum. So if some people have vacuums inside their body, they have nothingness inside their body and inside their spine, inside their disc. What is that? Is that just energy? How does energy take up space? How are we all connected? Because we're all connected to each other. We think that there's like a cause and effect, like Newtonian physics. I pick up this light bulb and I let go and it falls down. And that's because I picked it up and it fell down. But seems to me that there's way more connectedness than just that. And I think it has something to do with what is in this light bulb besides the wires. What is this vacuum? So if anyone has any good ideas, I'd be curious to know in the comments. What is nothingness? What is space? Because I think if you could figure that out, you could figure out how we're all connected. But yeah, going back through all the videos, and doing this New Year's resolution where I'm starting to write this book to kind of put together a lot of these ideas, I finally watched that viral video I made last July. I watched it. It's been watched like almost 15 million times now. And I couldn't bring myself to watch it after I published it. Like I made it and I watched it maybe like once or twice while I was editing it to make sure that the sound was okay and the color and everything was okay. It didn't really take much editing to make that video. And then I posted it, and then I went on a backpacking trip, and then when I came down from the mountain, like I went from like my life changed in that regard. Um, uh, I had like 279 subscribers to my channel, which was mostly pleasant nature sounds and scenes and silent, faceless hiking, except for Doobie's face. And then I published that video. I went backpacking with my dad and his friend and my friend, Whiskey Rye. We were in the mountains for like 3 days, and then came down from the mountain, and my phone, which is usually very quiet, had like 100 texts and many voicemails, and they were like, "Where are you? What? Do you know what's happening?" And I was like, literally, my phone was like bling 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 bling, and I was like, "What the heck is happening?" Because we were driving down from the mountain and just got into cell phone reception. We were gone for three days, 2 nights, and then now my YouTube channel had like 180,000 subscribers from 279, and then we're like, "Whoa, what happened?" And Whiskey Rye is like reading comments, and then he's like giving me updates on the subscriber count, and like literally from the time we got cell phone reception to when we stopped and ate a sub sandwich at Jimmy John's, which was like an hour drive away. It went from like, I don't remember, it was like 180,000 subscribers to like 210,000 subscribers or something in like an hour. It was really weird. Well, I couldn't bring myself to watch that video again because that was the first time that I really shared a deep part of myself publicly on a video on YouTube. And a lot of the things that I talked about in that video were painful. They're painful lessons learned. It was a lot of things in my life that took a long time. I suffered a lot. 20 years. And there was things that I was shameful about, things that I wanted to say, but I wasn't sure how people would react. And that's why I hid my name initially. That's also why I put MIT educated neurosurgeon in the title. Technically, it's true. I studied at MIT for college, but my neurosurgery training was at Duke University. But I wanted to obscure my neurosurgery and medical school alma mater to protect them, because I wasn't sure what the response to this video was going to be. And that confused a lot of people, and it still confuses people today. People keep saying, "Oh, there's no neurosurgery program at MIT." I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a lie, but it was true, but it was, in a way to obscure some of my past, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Yeah, I didn't. It was a little too painful to go back and watch. In fact, I had a very hard time even responding to comments for several days because I couldn't believe what was happening. And there's like 73,000 comments or something on it now. There's still new comments. So, like every hour, or it's pretty strange. But today, I sat down and I transcribed that whole video. And it's kind of strange to go back and watch something that you created a while ago and you kind of forgot like what all you said in it. And that like millions of people watched, or at least millions of views. It's kind of strange to go back. And I was listening and writing down the words for the book that I'm putting together. I was writing down the words that I said and the meanings that they elicit. And someone had commented this morning that they watched that video and all they said in the comment was, "This is magic." And that's what I would describe it as too, looking back. I don't think I could make a video like that again. Even if I tried to make that exact same video with the exact same words, I've transcribed it now. If I even tried to say those exact same words in the same place in the mountain this coming summer, I wouldn't be able to do it. There is a magic about creativity and creation of something. Being alive is magical. Every moment is different. History never repeats. It can rhyme, but sometimes it doesn't even rhyme. It's like an abstract piece of art. There is a magic to being alive. There's a magic to creating. And you don't have to be an artist or a YouTube content creator or a musician. Just being alive, you make choices and you create your own life, and that is magical. So that was something that was kind of cool to go back and watch a video I made 6 months ago. Yeah, that is magic. Living is magic. Sharing your life authentically is magic. Everyone can do that. It's not just me. It's not just an artist like Bob Dylan or an amazing actor. Everyone can share their life, if they choose to, authentically, with agency, having choice, and with love. That's wishing for the spiritual well-being of yourself and other people or other beings. We all can do that. You can do that. Everyone can. We just have to choose to do that. And I hope that more people do that this year. I want to live that way. I want to continue to live that way as best I can and be mindful if I'm not, so that I can say sorry to myself or to people that I may hurt. Ask for forgiveness from myself and from other people. Be thankful that I'm alive and able to share this magic with you, everyone else, and love you and myself equally, as equal souls. That's how I want to live this year. And I'm grateful to share this with you and have this channel. Other things that I'm looking forward to this year is learning how to play music better and singing. I started taking some singing lessons, and that's been fun. I have this beautiful guitar that I haven't played much. I've been playing the piano a lot. The piano is really good. It's weighted keys, but it's an electronic. So not like it doesn't really matter if you press it hard or if you press it softly. It kind of just plays the same sound. I mean, there might be a little bit of volume change with how sensitive or how hard you press the key, but it kind of just plays the same sound. And I don't think I can express myself as well on the electric piano, and I don't have space or the willpower to get like a stand-up piano. But I have this. And I love the color. And I watched Bob Dylan's Bob Dylan's and Elvis's biopic movies back to back, actually. One night, and then the next night watched the other one. And I really was inspired by both people. Bob Dylan and Elvis. So this year I'm going to learn how to play the guitar and sing. And I want to learn a lot of Bob Dylan songs because I find his lyrics beautiful. They're poetry. They're poetry set to music. And some of his songs have very deep social, societal consciousness to it. And some of those same songs are timeless. They're just as pertinent to today as they were when he first sang them in the 60s. So that's another part of this year that I'm looking forward to. My hope is that I can create some songs too, from my own soul and heart and consciousness and magic, to authentically share my feelings in words and lyrics and song. Well, that's kind of the things that I wanted to talk about today. I hope YouTube doesn't demonetize this video because I talked about some distressing things that happened yesterday and talked about how they demonetized 3 of my videos. But if they do, that's okay. I'll keep making many videos. And not all of them are going to talk about stressful things that happen. The majority of my videos talk about other things. My main thing I want to talk about is being alive. And the magic of being alive, being authentic as best as I can. Shining light on evil, loving myself and loving you and everybody else, and Doobie. I was looking for Doobie, but I think she's taking a nap somewhere else. Sometimes she takes a nap down here by my feet, but she's not here. Well, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great day or evening, wherever you are right now, listening to this. And I'm looking forward to living 2025 with you.